We need to talk about Pecco Bagnaia. All year, you've had a deluge of people on social media accusing the guy of not being able to ride anymore, not being a worthwhile champion, being a fraud. Admittedly, we had some up and down performances over the course of the year, but after a seemingly very sus Misano test in which VR46 ended up confirming that Pecco rode Franco Morbidelli's bike, Pecco has since been riding a reportedly hybrid GP24, GP25 Franken bike, which until he had a flat rear tire on Sunday, would have most likely at the very least resulted in him getting a podium after already locking up the sprint win. Now, I'm sure his critics would probably say, oh, this is just another high point after him having two abysmal weeks in a row. But bear in mind, that was also after he had a hat trick in Japan, locking up the sprint win, pole, and the Grand Prix win. Up until that point, though, people were ready to hit the panic button on not only his season, but potentially his entire relationship with Ducati, which, might have been a little bit out of proportion. But what was clear is Pecco was definitely frustrated during all this, and while his performance was definitely beneath what we would typically expect from Pecco, there was definitely some clues there as to it being not entirely his fault if you were willing to pay attention. Obviously, at Australia, we finally had a good picture of the wobbling that Pecco was experiencing coming out of some of the turns, but prior to that, Pecco had repeatedly at multiple tracks had an issue with getting the bike slowed down in time for high-speed turns, what appeared to be vibrations on the front tire, or some issue with stability on the front end of the motorcycle. And even before that, and some of you experts out there will probably know exactly which race I'm talking about, there was a race in which Marc Marquez himself, Pecco's teammate, had come into the pits at one point, either during a qualifying session or a practice session, and while he was talking to his mechanics, camera at one point, I saw catch Marc take his hands and make this motion in such a way, you'll have to forgive my interpretation there, indicating that he was experiencing some issue with the front of the bike as well. Now, clearly people will say, well, Marc could ride through it. Why couldn't Pecco? Well, those people that would ask that, I would simply ask, why can't anyone do what Marc can do? More than anything through all this, I think Pecco is proving the fact that he is still capable of riding like a world champion, and given the right bike, he can and will compete for victories or at the very least podiums. And while this doesn't necessarily bode well for the overall development of the GP25 going into the GP26, this does at least show that Ducati is still capable of competing at the front. And with the help of Gresini and VR46, obviously, I think they're making the statement that they're not exactly ready to relinquish the title of fastest constructor on the grid. Leave a comment and let me know what you guys think, and like and follow for more MotoGP content. I'll be seeing you guys soon. See ya.